Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines and an update on our guest house, mainly working in the bathroom. And what we've done here is we've laminated on 3/4, as you can see here, look, 3/4 block ply, and then an 1/8, what I would call an 1/8, but they call a 1/4 inch here, impossibly, but I think it's just the translation between metric and inches. So we're still in the process of finishing off on the basic carpentry. Still got a framework to go in here on the edge, but what we've done is we've done these panels, which I particularly like. I used these in the red house, and then when painted different colours it really does look right. So we're looking here, this is the base for a mirror, and it's specially designed so that it has a gap here. It mounts onto the wall on a frame, which I think you can see there. It's actually very simple mounting that I've used before on kitchen cabinets. And so I designed it so that James could make that very simply, and he could make it, and I can take this to the glazier and they will fit, so there's no mistaking on the sizes. I'll take this in and ask them to put a piece of mirror on there, a piece of 1/4 inch, which will go on there, and then there'll be strip light behind. I actually wanted the rope light. It turned out that the only rope light that I can get is horrendously expensive, nearly 3,000 pesos for the rope itself, and then you need to have a small unit that goes with it which powers that, so it's not a straight thing of connection to the power. It has to have this little unit that goes with it. They have a name for it, of course, but I don't know it. But anyway, that would do that. I would have liked it to have been lit all around with a softer light, but I can't run to that kind of money just for the mirror. The mirror will probably be about 500 pesos, maybe 600 pesos. So we've, because I wanted that lit and the light for that going here, this is the kind of thing that you're up against in the Philippines, and that is that stuff is just not always well made. I mean, here you've got a nice click, look. Nice click there, you can hear that click. Now this is the on off here. It's not clicking. That's not actually clicking. I'll have to replace that light, that switch. Now it's only about I don't know, it's a $3 switch, so I'm not going to start taking it back and saying this doesn't work. I just forget it, buy another one that looks exactly like this. I actually bought this and I didn't realise that it had the bell on there, so it's actually probably more for a doorbell. Doorbell in the Philippines? No, I don't think so. But I like these panels. Got James to put these in today. It's a quick job, but it has a big effect, and had the same on the other side. A little bit like having a painting on the wall. So those are the additions. It's got all of that moulding in there. We still have the half round that's going to be in the middle of this, so that still has to go in, and this has just gone on the wall today, and obviously it has to have this little tiny fiddly bit. As they say, the devil is in the details. So that's where we're at, and because we had the electrical to go in, there's a panel that's been taken out there, and but which obviously will go back in again. So there we are, that's the panel. But when the lights are hooked up, that's when that will go in. So that's where we're at right now. I'm very pleased with how it's going. It's a pleasure for me to be designing and have someone as expert as James do the work for me. Normally I wouldn't be able to trust this kind of work to anybody here that I know of in the Philippines. I would have to do it myself. Fortunately, James is of a very similar mind, and when I explain to him what I've designed, he's able to immediately get the picture. So all this you've seen before, but just giving you a scan round for those who don't know. We've got that lowered panel. The panel is lowered. This gives you an idea what the mirror will look like, because there's a concealed light there in that panel, and that was the effect on a more local basis that I wanted in the bathroom. So that gives you the idea. All the little bits now have actually been done. I could, if I was up to it, I could come in and do some painting, but I'll wait until the dust work has been done, and then we can have a clean up, and then I'll be able to come in and get a lot of painting done in an evening. I will get most of this lower stuff all done. But that's only the base coat, of course, just the primer, what I would call a primer. Think of it as the primer, and get the wood done as well, and get all of that. What is now, I actually quite like the wooden look with the contrast in the different kinds of wood. You know, you've got that, what I think is probably a Philippine mahogany in the half round, and then, well, I'm not quite sure what the other would be. That's part of the block ply, as is these pieces here are the block ply, and we've made that up as a custom molding that has turned out to be a big success in my mind. Have it all down here too. Have to do something with that door, which started off fine because it was just a rustic door in a rustic building, but now it's not rustic anymore. So I will put a panel of 1/8 or quarter inch plywood on that, which will decorate that a lot better. So there we are, pleased with the day's work. Moving on. So this is a foreigner in the Philippines, our quarantine madness project, which is continuing. We just got back home from going to see the blind couple. We're building, well actually we have built a small sari store that looks like about maybe 8 by 7, something like that. Enough with the groceries that we've bought for them, that they will be able to generate some income. Challenge, of course, will be in educating them so that they don't take stock for themselves. You know, it has to be that whatever is in the sari store has to be paid for, even if it's paid for by them, in my mind. But we'll see how we do on training them to be able to do that. Certainly they desperately need help. One of those things where you go around there and see them. They do have youngsters there in their teens who can help to run that store, but still a tough challenge in survival. And we really want to be able to help them as much as we can. So that's all from me. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now.